All right. Hello. I'd like to call to order the public art meeting for January 27th, 2025. All in favor?
Sounds good.
Favor.
There you go.
Did it. All right, cool. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve the minutes from December's meeting?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Opposed? 4?
All in favor?
All right, all in favor. There it is. Thank you. All right, approved. Good. All right, town liaison report. Taylor.
Most of my report is in old business, so I'll save my comment for that.
Okay. Good stuff. Chairperson's report. I think you're actually going to talk about it. So I think actually I'm good for that as well. So pretty good. Public comment? No, nothing. All right, all right good.
All right.
All right, old business, Taylor.
Switching it up. Alrighty, so to start off, I hope you can hear me. To start off, we're going to talk about the mural at White Oak Creek Greenway. The mural design from artist Sean Kernick can be reviewed printed in front of you as well as on the PowerPoint here. This is the design that is going up for public review until our next meeting, which is February 24th, when this committee will vote on any changes or recommendations that come from the public towards the design. We'll have a conversation with Sean if anything big comes up from the public. And if nothing big comes up, we'll bring it to council, hopefully on March 11th, so that we can get painting by the end of March. So that should be right on schedule. You'll see that the top image in the PowerPoint is the full view. He was able to kind of superimpose that in with a very wide panoramic shot of the space, and then the zoomed in views below that. Really detail, high contrast. Is really just gorgeous how he was able to take our feedback and incorporate that in. Does anybody have any feedback about the mural at this time before we bring it to the next item?
All positive for me. So
Yeah, looks
Wonderful.
great.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, that's for that one. Moving on, we have our, well, actually it's back one. The crosswalk art over at Salem Street. So that is where we're at in that process is the Public Art Committee has already placed their votes for the applications that have come in. And I have a conversation with our top artist on Thursday. And so I'll go over the process with them to see if their process works with ours, to see if they have the same type of timeline as we do, and see if any red flags come up or really green flags. Once I have that conversation, we'll be able to negotiate a contract if all things are positive and be able to nail down their timeline with that contract. So we're moving. That one's a little bit slower because we had the holiday and a couple breaks here and there. But other than that, we're in progress with that.
Taylor,
Yeah.
did I miss something that came through? Because I don't remember voting on those particular artists for the crosswalk, or did we?
Yes, we
was
already
that?
did that before the holiday.
Okay.
Yeah. So both the design
Yeah.
for Sean's work and the artist application reviews were right around the Christmas holiday.
Okay. So that was sort of an art and music theme
That one,
for the Salem Street.
no, that one's just art.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
general art.
Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
And there's no design for that. We're just picking the artist right now.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Yep, that's all I have for that one. And then Sean, I'll pass it to you for the Hunter Street Park. Did you get any feedback from the Slack group since our last meeting?
I got feedback from our group. I don't know if we got any since the last meeting. I don't remember the timeline. I did get good feedback. Thank you, Susan. I think Susan and Tom did. I don't remember if anyone else did or not. So I did get good feedback, and I'm kind of working through that right now. I don't have any updates for anything, but most of the changes that or the feedback I got were going to be the changes I probably make to it. So making the two more, I guess, cohesive, so they kind of flow from either side. Getting rid of the two-tone that was more of just kind of like just a rendering to throw out quickly. So having a little bit more depth of color on some of the greens and stuff. Making some of this stuff look a little less like cartoony, and so yeah. So there's just some things working on, but I'll have some updates for that somewhat soon.
Is there an estimated date for doing that?
I think we were trying to get it out sooner than later, because just with weather permitting, and everything, the projects we have going on, and Peak Fest and everything else, and then all of a sudden we're out of time. So pretty much as soon as we can.
Okay.
But I don't know if we had a time set in place yet.
We don't have a time set in place for that one. Once we get the design completed, or at least closest to its possible completion, we will be able to bring that to the department director, and then if he approves, we can move forward with it with permitting and council. Yeah. Thanks, Sean.
Sure. Absolutely.
Alrighty, so let's see here. Digital art updates. So I received updated drawings from AvCon. There was, in the planning review, there was a 3-inch difference from what we were allowed to do and what we were not permitted to do. So they redid some of the drawings. So AvCon sent those over, and I resubmitted them to planning on January 14th. They are still going through that review process right now. So pending their approval, I'll be able to apply for construction permits for the building of that structure. I already have a completed and signed contract for the contractor who will create the structure. So that is already ready to go, essentially waiting for a big thumbs up from planning and from permitting. On the fun side of things, not that that's not fun, but I should say the more fun side, Tom and I have been in conversations with Durham Production Company to host the grand opening for this project. Right now, I do not have a set in stone timeline, but I'm hoping late spring. They would be commissioned to create a professional video production, which would include community input. So we've been working with them to do a 15-minute 2D, 15-minute 3D, and a community input project. So they've been working up quotes for us with that. Their company focuses on historic and architecture pieces. So they were thinking about focusing on projects like the Halley, downtown Apex, the Depot, that kind of thing for the grand unveiling of the video. So we've been in conversations with them about that. That would be covered under our mural line item, since that is considered a digital mural. So we are covered for any specific budget purposes when it comes to that project and that unveiling. We're hoping to have, be able to have a nice big unveiling for that, maybe even a temporary close of Templeton, which is that street right there, to have a little bit more of a professional opening, if closing the street is fully permitted, of course. Let's see here. At this time, that is what I have for the digital art project. Any questions or things?
Will there
I
be
should look
any,
into?
or I guess, how long will those 15-minute videos run?
They'll run from sundown to sunup, so it will be looped.
Will it be for a month and then switched out? Is there any plan
To
for?
be determined. Yep, it's all to be determined. We have not nailed down how often we want to switch that project over. Right now, our other art pieces really vary. So if you look at our galleries over at the Halley, or even the gallery downstairs here, that switches every other month, to as extreme as our sculpture walk, which changes every year. Now, obviously, we're going to want more than a year, but maybe no more than every 2 months. So that's something that we can definitely talk about, but we'd like to be able to get good use out of that project. We can always bring it back every so often if need be.
I'm selfishly interested in creating some things.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and the guidelines that were created are in good progress. So it has been approved by Communications as well as by Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Resources Department. So now it is going over to administration. So administration is going to review that and see if any further approvals need to happen. So meaning when someone sends in a project, who is fully approving it before it launches on the screen. So we're working on that type of process. But otherwise, let's see here, the content has been approved. So that content guide has been approved. So that is good. We're moving.
There is one addendum since writing that I would probably let it get through but probably want to add something about AI. Just not that it's like not allowed, but you have to disclose if any part of the artwork is generated from AI. But
if
I'm
you
not gonna
have a statement, you can always send it my way, and I can have it reviewed by our legal team, and because they are also looking at all of these guidelines as well as a part of the administration group. So if you have a statement or something that kind of has the general idea, I can ask them to evaluate that and put it in.
That's a good call. I don't want to. You can clearly tell when things are AI. Well, most likely tell when things are AI. So I hate to have that up on the side of the building.
Yeah.
Question about the digital files, the videos and images and whatnot. Is that would those become ours? Like, would we own those and like we're purchasing them, or would it be something that was like on lease, or how does that work?
So we can vary the contract. So with a piece that we're commissioning, like the Durham Production Company's piece, that would be something that we own. If it is a short-term gallery-esque release, we would not permanently own it. We can customize the contract based on what we would like and how we would like to make that agreement with the artist.
Great.
No, that's great. I hadn't thought about like digital assets if we wanted to own them or not. So that's good.
You mentioned like revisiting things. So I was wondering if we could, whenever, if we had to go back and ask for them again or something.
Yeah, especially if we own them, we can revisit. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so that's digital art. My next piece actually has to do with the current show that we have for the sculpture walk. So artists are slated for their de-install date, which is the week of March 17th. Tom has been working diligently with them to schedule a staggered release of those because it's essentially an all hands on deck situation when it comes to our parks operations team. We are bringing up 2 pieces for council review for purchase. It is Keyhole Portal, which you can see in front of you on the screen or on your printouts, of course, and Doves of Peace. So I'm going to toggle back and forth between these 2 just real quick. So Keyhole Portal is by Bob Doster, and we're going to be proposing to council to move it in front of the depot, which is the light-colored brick building. You'll see there, I should say the roof is light-colored. So we're hoping to put the piece where that yellow circle is, which is right at the end of the parking lot. It would give the perfect vantage point, not only when you're on Salem, when you're turning on Center, when you're on Center Street, as well as if you're walking around downtown. The idea with that piece, just to give you a reminder with Keyhole Portal, is it's a portal between our past, present, and our future. And so we had actually talked about where the best place would be, and we thought it would be right in the middle of downtown, which represents our past, present, and our future. When it comes to Doves of Peace, this piece is created by Timothy Werrell. His piece is in front of the Allstate building, as you can see here right now. We're proposing to bring that over to the police station, which is the station off of Saunders Street. It would sit right next to the sidewalk there. You'll see the yellow circle on there. It's kind of by their front parking area. It is not very great visibility from this picture, but if you're in a car, you're walking past, is excellent. visibility. And this piece, as you can tell, Doves of Peace, it is a representation of doves, a representation of peace and togetherness. And we thought that that would be a wonderful representation for the police department. And their police chief right now, or the deputy police chief, excuse me, spoke very highly of moving this over there. So he was very, the representation of doves being peaceful and bringing people together was something that the police department is favorable towards, having a representation piece in front of their department. So we're very excited that they're on board. So both this piece and the keyhole portal will be brought to council. On February 11th, I'll be giving a presentation about that with their hopeful request for purchase for both of them. Now, it is up to council to purchase one or both or neither, and they always have really good questions as to why we chose these specific ones. So other than the description that I have already given, Keyhole Portal and Doves of Peace were also our award winners this year. So every year we try and pick our award winners when we go up to council to purchase. So that is why we chose these two. And we did a whole vote on these, I think it was back in July. So it has taken some time. Most of that was because of the location. We're trying to figure out the best location, what has anything underground. And then lastly, for the current show, for the sculpture show, we have been actually donated one of the pieces, Coming Together by Phil and David. I wish I would have put the picture of it. Sean, thank you for the reminder. Coming Together has been donated to the town by the two artists. This piece is in front of the depot currently, and it is the rock-like bench. And we're looking at some locations for this bench to be permanently sat over at Pleasant Park or at the Nature Park. Nature Park being a nature bench, we figured it would be a really nice fit over there. Or Pleasant Park has a nature playground, which would be a nice fit over there as well. It's right next to the Fantasy Forest playground. We thought it would be a nice fit. So working to see, again, where the best location is, where any utilities are not underneath, of course. So we are working through that one. When it comes to the upcoming show, we are all working through the artist contracts. So there are 11 new sculptures that will be going into locations with only one new location. So we will be removing the location from in front of the community center, and we have proposed, it's still up for review, to have that piece moved out here by the Arc lot. There's like a foresty, grassy area. We're trying to put one in the middle over there. So that would be the 11th spot. So we're working on getting that approved and reviewed by planning for that piece. But otherwise, all things going well with that project. And the artists are very excited. Some we've had consistently every couple years, and some are new. And so working with them is exciting. So it's getting everything together. But yeah, that's my part of the presentation.
Great.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Two things. The Doves of Peace, that piece is going to go over, it looks like it's going to be over by the mural.
Yes, it will
Right.
be somewhat near the mural, probably about 50, 100 feet away.
Right, because that's usually where they do their memorial services and remembrances and things like that. So it's probably an optimal place for it to be within proximity. 'Cause that's usually where they do them, right?
Yes. Yeah, they do the memorials somewhere between the memorial statue, which is at the corner of Saunders and Salem, and the front doors of PD. It just depends on the type of memorial.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, we're really excited that
Right.
if all goes well with council, that that piece will really be a really beautiful representation of
Yeah, I like the location of that one.
memory, really, too. Yeah.
Yeah, in particular, that's a really good location for that. The second piece was, um, I've heard Pleasant Park mentioned a lot, and I could have missed this conversation. So if I did, just remind me. But is there a plan for other pieces to be commissioned for Pleasant Park? 'Cause that's a lot. That's a lot of real estate.
Yes.
Is there
Yes.
a plan that I didn't hear about, or we're just going to do it one by one until it's done? Or
So it's kind of a combo of those things. So the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Resources Department actually has an art plan for that park. And as it goes through its phases, it is being commissioned. Art is being commissioned.
we have nothing to do with that?
We do not have anything to do with that right now because some of those pieces have not been approved yet. So once those pieces get into the approval state, is most likely they will come to here in some fashion
Okay.
to be reviewed in some way.
Okay.
Then on the other side of things, the Public Art Committee can bring more pieces out there, whether that be murals, sculptures, any
That was
form
just
of
really what the question
crosswalks,
was.
anything. Yeah, so we can create new items that would go out there to be reviewed, same way that we do with our other projects. The thing with Pleasant Park is it is being built in phases. So phase 1 is done and has been done for just over a year. And then phase 2 is going to be starting, I think, at the end of this year or sometime this year, I believe. So, items in phases, whether or not how much land is property that we can put art in, we would have to review.
So again, just for my own edification, is this an early conversation that we'll be having in the future about how we'll deploy or commission pieces, and when and would it be synchronized with like the art walk, or will it just be a completely separate activity that we may support? Complicated question. So basically, when we roll out pieces here in
Yes.
town, will that be included, or would that be two separate activities? To make my question more simple.
Sure. So the park can be included in any of our proposals, just like any of our parks or downtown or, here on town campus. It is an opportunity that we can put art there. I'm not sure if I'm answering your question.
I think
Yeah,
that
no,
he was
no, no.
asking if
It
it
was
would be
pretty much
included in
when do we do it? We would deploy them all at the same time, or is it a separate one?
I mean,
Are we talking specifically about the sculpture walk?
Yeah, because that's a number of pieces.
Okay.
But so would that be included in that number, or we just do a separate?
I think because the sculpture walk focuses on downtown and being within walking distance, being within walking distance, at this point, Pleasant Park is not included in that, with it being, a several minute drive away from downtown. But it doesn't necessarily mean that there cannot be a separate sculpture series
That's what I'm.
over at
Showing you.
Pleasant.
That's what I was trying to drive.
Yeah, no, I got you. I'm with
Yeah.
you. And I think it's something we could do, whether it's like a park series or a sculpture series at Pleasant Park or something
That's
like
where
that.
I
Yeah.
was going with it.
Yeah. It's
Took the long way
definitely
around.
something that we
Right.
can- yeah. It's definitely something that we can talk about and incorporate into the budgets as they get rolled out. Yeah.
Cool.
No, sure.
And we had talked about it years ago when it was kind of getting started, and I think remind me if I'm you might not even be part of the committee yet. We had talked a little bit about what we're going to do, what we wanted to do, and I think they already had plans to bring in their own team to kind of plan everything out for it. So we're kind of just waiting on the back burner for a while now.
Cool. Okay.
Taylor, I have a question about the placement of the Doves of Peace too. Just so that I'm remembering this right, isn't Inky another one of our purchased ones just in front of the mural? So they'll be pretty close together then, won't they?
Yes, they're essentially going to be like
Bookends.
Yeah,
of the mural, yeah.
into the
Mural.
parking area
Okay.
where the mural is. Okay. Yeah, we're trying not to keep it right on that corner. It will be more close in front of the building,
Okay.
but it is kind of those
Okay.
those points.
Oh, that's good visibility. Though.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Inky's next to the alleyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Inky is
Yeah.
near
Right.
the alleyway.
Yep.
And
Yes.
then the mural in front of the building, and then the statue, the Doves of Peace, and then the mural on the other side. Is that right? Yeah.
It goes, so if you're looking at the front of PD. You have
Mural is on the
Inky,
left side, that's right.
Mural,
To the left.
then Doves of
Yeah,
Peace.
okay.
Yeah. Inky, Mural, then Doves of Peace.
Picturing it backwards. Okay.
Yes.
So that'll be a pretty high concentration of public art right in that spot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another not only high visibility but easy to walk to in downtown.
And from the new parking.
I was gonna say, and with the
Yeah.
parking
Yeah.
decks, is what I was gonna say. Yeah.
So when you come across for the parking lot, the
Yeah.
new parking lot, you would
Yeah.
walk up
Yeah.
that sidewalk and see multiple pieces.
Yeah.
And would there still be? We still have a piece in the area between the parking and the police station and that Saunders Street.
We do not have that space.
We lost that
anymore.
spot? Okay.
Yeah, that's been
Under construction.
that is
Yeah.
under construction.
Okay.
So Taylor, the keyhole portal. So I'm assuming that the way that you have it there, will the piece be sort of parallel with Center Street, if you know what I'm saying? So that if you're looking at the portal, the center will be facing Center Street and the parking lot. Is that correct? Or the opening is what I'm
We're
saying.
hoping that planning will allow us to have it angled a little
Okay,
bit
okay.
so that it's not just a straight through, like if you're driving into that parking lot,
Yeah.
it's not just a straight through looking through it. We're
Okay.
hoping to angle it a little bit.
Okay.
Not only to give us a better vantage point of the piece,
Yeah.
but when it was installed, it's installed meant to be kind of turned a little. And Bob, the artist, purposefully turned it extra
Yeah.
so that it was like perfect to his
Yeah.
vantage
Okay.
point.
That makes sense. I hope he maybe has some input on how it's
Yeah.
positioned.
Oh yes,
As the artist,
absolutely.
yeah. Mhm.
If both items get approved for purchase,
Yeah.
we're going to have both artists in town when the pieces are moved, so that they can have a little bit more input. Obviously, if they're available.
Great.
Yes. Yeah, that's all I have for Sculpture Walk. So
Great.
we can move on unless we have any other questions for that.
Okay. Peak Fest. Been a while since we've really done anything with it. I think really all we need is to see if we have like 3 people who can cover the day for Peak Fest. You're out, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be out.
Understood. Is there? I don't know.
Just depends when our daughter's born.
Okay.
So
That's right.
She'll be like a week and a half, 2 weeks before Peak Fest.
Oh,
but
wow.
Okay.
if she comes late, probably not. If she comes on time or early, yes.
We're just going to count you out.
Yeah, I was gonna.
I will want to get. I will want to get out of the house.
I hear your
so-
yes.
He's planning
You
for
can be
Baby
an
Fest.
extra if
Yeah,
possible,
right.
but
Right.
He's planning for Baby Fest.
yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. So. I don't know if you'd be able to.
What are the dates again?
It's the third of
May.
May. Thank you.
I'm going to say that yay that I
Okay.
can. But I'm going to confirm.
Okay.
But I think I can.
I'm waiting to confirm as well because that's always it happens on the weekend of my wife's birthday every time. So I'm trying to be like, hey, this time. So I'll let you know about that. But then I can check with you and Tom and Sue. The other thing is if we can't, I'll see if we can try to get something within the week about getting people to approve or not. If we can't get 3, we just need to pull it from the old business and just move on until next year and figure something out. If we can get 3, then great, and then we can start working on like what we're gonna do in the next couple
And if we
meetings.
can get 3, we can always enlist like the youth council or, other groups to like additionally help. But I definitely think we would need somebody there from Public Art Committee just to, yeah,
Just
be a
to
spokesperson.
be
Yeah.
exactly, absolutely. Yeah. So if we can talk to somebody on the youth council soon, that'd be great. I mean, is that someone people you can talk to? If we can see if there's anyone who'd be willing to do it, that'd be great.
There's lots of kids who need hours because my daughter's on the council.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
So they need hours, yeah. They
Oh,
need
great.
volunteer
Yeah.
hours. So there's
Oh.
usually like it fills up pretty, and especially if it's Peak Fest, I would imagine they would be interested in doing
Okay.
that.
Good. Yeah, I think the sooner the better. I mean, Tom was saying if we don't get 3 now, just can it. But I think we can give it a week since we're missing a couple, and we can reach out to youth council.
Should we follow up on Slack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
introduce
Maybe
it
by-
on Slack.
Yeah. Let's do
And
that.
then
If there's
follow
any
up within the week.
pre-work to be done, I would love to help.
Yeah, I can do all the pre-work, if there's any a setup and,
In the actual location, like the tent, and
Or
stuff
like, no, like, I
anything
mean,
in
like,
general?
weeks before, yeah,
Gotcha, okay.
like, you know, drawing tiny.
Yeah,
squares.
yeah. I think we can.
That's not a problem.
If we can find that we have the coverage for it, then we'll start looking into what we're gonna do and just kind of focus something. If we can't find any coverage for it, then we'll hold off. We'll find another event.
How long are the shifts? Like, how much coverage do you?
It's usually at 9 to 5, so.
Yeah, the
Okay.
festival's 9 to 5.
Okay.
Setup is essentially 6 to 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I should say setup cleanup. is
There,
6 to 6.
there could definitely have overlap. If we can,
Yeah, 4. Yeah.
2 to 6, yeah, 4-hour shifts.
4.
so potentially, if we could see if we can definitely get youth council like to help in the morning, like early, maybe set up if they're willing to do setup. I don't know if that's too early for them or not. And then from there, I think it's fine because then there'll be overlap for the rest of us at some point. So
Okay.
Great.
I'll reach out to them.
Is there a concept for the setup or just table, tent?
it's just the number one of the like the tents and the numbered spaces, right? That's and then if we want to do something in there, we can. So a couple years ago, we did the like the paint by numbers. It's an easy one to do again. Well, it's an easy one to do again because we already have the concept and just we have to come up with a new image or whatever. But we don't have any themes or anything figured out yet.
How was that displayed afterwards?
It's currently in the
Senior
senior center. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
on the
hanging
wall.
up in there. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
But it was, I mean, where was it? The Halley for a while, wasn't it? Just sitting in
The
there.
Halley for a while. It was moved over to the community center for a bit, and now it's permanently on the wall in the senior center. And one thing to think about, so we do have a 10 by 10 space reserved for the public art committee, but if we found that we were not able to commit the whole time, or we had some people who are able to be there and some that aren't, we can always set up a couple easels with the departments. So the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Resources Department tent, they will have people there. They will have representation. So we can do some an A-frame, or we can do some easels.
Or some
We've
stickers
done
or
that in the
something, yeah.
past. Yeah, we can do the stickers. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago we did easels with 24 by 36 posters on them of the current the current sculpture walk, and then the map of, well, at that time it was the map of the sculptures, but we have now, you know, having it been several years, we do have a map of where all of our artwork is now, as well as, you know, what will be the incoming sculptures at that point.
We
Well,
could have a
right
QR
now.
code to the AutoCast and things like that. So.
Yeah, so there are options. And it's not like if we can't get full commitment for the 10 by 10 where we have to have people at shifts, we can always make the decision to do something a little bit smaller, that might be a little bit more attainable, have a couple people there.
And if we do this and we can't think of some grand gesture, I think even having just here's the art we have, here's the plans, like what's your feedback, here's a sticker, whatever, you know, it'd be low work, really. Just not a lot you have to do. Just be able to talk to people and kind of just get the word out and just, you know, get people excited about art.
Yeah.
Cool. Good. So that's all I got for PFAS so far. So Susan, with your art guide.
Okay, so did you make a copy of this?
I did. I
Okay.
made a copy,
Okay.
and I made a meeting for next week.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, so we can talk about if you're available. If
Okay.
not, I sent them the link for that.
Okay.
So they're ready to have a conversation. I think it's next Friday, so the 7th.
Okay.
I think it is.
Okay. Okay. And what is the group, Taylor? So who are these folks? Are they marketing and folks? Marketing folks. Okay. Do you have a time for that?
I can message
You
you.
can get
after
that to
you
me.
know
Yeah.
right now.
Great. Great.
It was
Okay.
in the morning though.
Okay.
And the idea with this art guide, and thank you, Susan, for bringing that last month. That way, if anybody watches this back so that they know what we're talking about.
Yes, yes.
The art guide that Susan brought in last month is from Durham. It's from the Downtown Durham organization.
Yeah.
And it goes over not only the current pieces, but also the inspiration for future items. And it goes into detail the description and where those pieces are. It's actually a really great
Very detailed.
handheld piece of booklet, if you will.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice.
Which we're hoping that marketing could help us with creating one for all of our current public art that we have right now. And so we might have to get a little creative when it comes to, if we want a more green product in the sense of like a more ever living product, we might have to get a little creative when it comes to the sculpture walk because it changes every year. But with our permanent pieces or with our permanent murals and crosswalks and whatnot, that would be an easy piece to put in there. So definitely a lot to go into it. It's definitely a project.
Yeah.
A lot of information that they'll need ahead of time and before they really design it. But I think it would be a great resource for people to grab them at any of the buildings on campus, at the Halley, any of the parks, things like that. Yes, Lafayette.
First question.
Yes.
You heading this up?
Well, it was my idea. I don't know about heading it up, but yeah.
Secondly, I like to know who's going to head it up. Thirdly, this is a fabulous idea. I don't know if anybody else has the enthusiasm I have at the last minute. I know, but I'm looking at this like it's not taking me long to figure this out. I'm like, this was Apex? This would be unbelievable. Right? However version we want to do it, electronically, hard copy, whatever. But I kind of want to be, dotted line associated with this if it gets some traction.
Sure. Yes, please.
Would love to,
Yeah.
I guess, because our items change so often, I don't want the document to have an expiration date, Bethany, you know what I'm saying? So how would we?
Well, I mean, a lot of the things in there, you could have a general overview, and then you could have like a link or a QR code to like the most recent, the current like sculpture walk page, landing
That's
page.
Yeah, and it may be something that we can update instead of every year. We update it every couple of years, every 3 years, depending on what kind of content we can actually build for it. So what I can do is I'll put the time of the meeting on Slack so that anybody who wants to attend it, it will be a video call, so it won't be in person. That way you can take it anywhere. So I'll put that meeting on Slack so you can see the date and time.
Thank you.
Yeah, Durham has such a vibrant public art scene. And of course, it's larger than Apex, and it's sort of divided into regions of the city. But they have a lot of things like this around town that you can grab, which I like that. I just like that. And then you get to keep it. So I know I'm old school, but
It's an educational piece.
yeah, it really is.
Well, I like it too, though. I like
Yeah.
no matter old school or not.
Yeah, right.
I like having something I can hang on to
Yes.
and have and remember and look through. Do you know how often they reprint that or they update it?
Don't
I
know.
didn't see any dates or
And they
anything on there.
work through. It's called Discover Durham, which is, I think it's a company that markets the community. So they're their own entity, I guess. But it's definitely, murals are in there, sculptures, everything. Yeah,
Cool.
that's good.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something we could do, if it ends up going through, assuming there'd be budget for it, what would be the harm in doing it and redoing it every year versus doing it every 3 years?
It's not really a harm. No, there's no harm. We can do a yearly release. I think it really just depends on budgetary constraints. Yeah.
And how many you have to have printed. at a
Well, that's how I was
time.
wondering, yeah.
And for the first year, you'll have an idea of how many get
Every year.
picked up, and then you can
Yeah.
get a better estimate of what to print.
Exactly. And there are plenty of options on where to place these. Not only just town facilities, but we may be able to put them.
As soon as you walk in the alley, boom.
Yep, exactly. The Halley,
It'd be a hot
Town
ticket.
Hall, the
Yeah.
depot,
Yes.
anywhere. Mhm.
Or you could, you know, sort of the sculpture walk, yearly sculpture walk could be an additional add-in. So if you have a basic one, and then each year you can, if you have some, you can just add the yearly ones to it by, you know, the stapling process or, whoops,
Now,
or
younger
whatever.
not to belabor the point, younger people, blah blah blah. You know how we are. See what I did there?
I like it.
I let that. We young people
right.
might want to still focus everything, to the phone. I get it. There could be maybe an iteration of the same thing. Yeah. I don't want to overcomplicate it, but if they could get the same messaging this way, be kind of cool. Like, what would that look like on my phone? Type
Sure.
of thing.
So actually, what Durham does is they have a digital flip book.
All right,
It
then
looks
there you go.
exactly like that, and I would think it would be very similar to what the technology that we use for the program guide.
Same
and
thing.
It's all the same thing.
Same thing.
You can just export every page individually and put a number of different platforms, or make a progressive web app. Just really, really simple. Yeah, it's use the same exact assets.
We're also probably seeing kind of the pendulum swing of getting back away from everything being digital now too, where people want to have media in their hands too. So you'll probably see more push towards that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah.
Got my vote.
But both, I guess. Yeah.
Recyclable.
Yeah, we can get creative. It does not have to be the exact same thing.
No.
Right,
No,
right.
No.
And
I like the size of it though.
yeah, it's an
You know,
excellent size.
It's not too tall, like,
Yeah.
it fits in, your pocket.
Your pocket
Right.
or somewhere.
Yeah. Can flip through it quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But it's generating conversation.
Yes, it is.
So that should tell you
That's
something.
what we want,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. Okay. Cool. So I think we're good with old business. On to new business. Anything anyone has? We see this is crossed out. Still working on the change of where our committee goes is going to be just on delay right now, which is fine. But yeah, anything else new? Anyone?
Did that conversation die, or is it still underway?
It's still in play. It's not been presented to any of the advisory groups that I'm aware of yet, with the exception of, the clerk's office has brought it to council in their work session, but the clerk was intending to be here for this presentation, but he had to switch things up. So he was apologizing to he has apologized to the group that we do have to postpone that conversation to February. I think it's also still under, it's in progress still.
Yeah.
So the conversation is still moving.
Okay.
Great. Anything else? Any other new business that anyone wants to bring up? Anything anyone wants to think about, do, plan? Great. Okay, for another meeting then.
Yeah.
All right. Well, does anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
Second. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Meeting adjourned.